Welcome back our viewers. I think very important and beautiful segments, and today we'll discuss a very important issue and really interesting insight into all of you. We'll speak about cultural and international food festival. I think very important to know more about this kind of festivals and what's about these corners in our life. But before we start, let's welcome our guest, Mr. Mofid Deak, Press Attaché Embassy of the United States of America. Welcome, Mr. Mofid, and happy to see you and good morning, KFC.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. Mr. Mofid, my first question to you about this festival and what's about. Give us about information in general about this important festival and about the participations of United States Embassy in this festival.
Sure. This festival, actually the International Food and Cultural Festival, is a private organized festival by three private companies and organizations that try to promote not only food but culture amongst the people in this country. And they have invited 26 foreign embassies to come and participate in this wonderful gathering of people, their cultures and their foods and whatnot, to come and share with the Saudi public something about their culture and about their food. And we were really honored to be invited as U.S. Embassy, and we welcome the opportunity to really be there and participate both in the food segment of the festival and the cultural part as well. And our DCM, our Deputy Chief of Mission, Tom Williams, himself really came to the opening ceremony, and myself and ATO, the Agricultural Trade Officer, Mr. Tawheed Safi, and a large number of our embassy people came to this festival because we really believe that this is where we can really meet the wonderful Saudis and make the friendships that we'd like to make with Saudis and build these kinds of human relationships with these Saudis. And we are really, really happy and honored to be part of this festival as the other festivals that we have been part of in the past 2 years since at least I came in, but I'm sure that predated me.
Most definitely. Now, Mr. Mufid, of course, we would like to extend our greetings to His Excellency, the Ambassador of the United States of America to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Mr. Jim, and of course his beautiful wife, Dr. Janet. And of course, we see as the people of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia their efforts as to being a part of our community and not only being outsiders who see our community, but actually being integrated within our community. We see that Dr. Janet Smith is very much active on the forefront of the grounds as well. Our regards to her, ma'am. Now, Mr. Mufid, as you are perhaps a window for the general public to perhaps know a little bit more about the United States of America, I would like for me to be taking this opportunity and asking you just about a little bit more of what is it that the people should expect out of the festival. What are the cultural aspects of the United States of America that they would be able to see? Because we know the States is huge. And you cannot possibly really integrate it all in one festival. It is not humanly possible. So let us talk a little bit about what are the states that are actually presented over there at the festival, and what is the variety of food that we can bring over.
Nihal, thank you very much, first of all, for the nice, kind words about our ambassador and his wife, Dr. Janet. They really are part of this community. Ever since they came, they have really been making it a point to go out and meet with Saudis, not only in government, but you know, at every level they can. They really feel home with Saudis, and we all actually really feel so proud to be making these kinds of relationships with Saudis and to be welcomed into their homes and offices. We feel really home in Saudi Arabia. Now back to the participation, it's not really a state-by-state kind of a thing, but it's the United States. We are one country. So, and thanks to our business community, really, I should really mention this and praise them for their efforts. The American business community in Riyadh and in Saudi Arabia has really come through, has really delivered on the promises they gave us 2-3 weeks ago when we approached them to come and participate, not only representing our embassy, but representing our country, the United States. And they really came through. I can tell you that there's at least 6 businesses that have been coming and will be coming until the end of this program. Every single night they send us a chef to work for about 6 hours cooking American food, from the Ritz-Carlton to the Marriott Courtyard to Domino's Pizzas to the Four Seasons. I don't really want to forget any of these people. The Dairy Queen with the wonderful, Blizzard, the great ice cream. And I really hope I have not really forgotten any of these, because they really have been wonderful people who came and given generously great American food.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, this is really part of these American businesses' feeling of giving back to the community, giving back to the Saudi community, saying thank you, Saudis, for being our partners and being our customers and being our clients.
Yeah.
So, and this is really part of their social responsibility. These businesses really would like to become part of this community. It's not that they're here only to make money, it's really here to make a difference in this community. And I think coming to this festival and participating and giving back so generously is just a sign of that. So I really thank them again for this. Now you come to our again, there's two booths for the U.S. Embassy, one for the cultural, side of things, and then one for the food side of things, where these chefs really, bring
Kind
the
of
wonderful
cultural reflection, I think.
Absolutely, they bring their own, wonderful food every night, the burgers and hopefully the steaks and all of these great
Yeah.
things, And then you go to our cultural booth and you'll find all kinds of things about America, the geography of America, the history of America, the literature of America, how the legal system works, and then you have a great collection of books on how to study in the U.S. And of course, study in the U.S. is a great topic in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if you guys know, but there's at least 65,000 Saudi students today studying in the United States. And we are really honored to have that kind of a number of Saudi students coming to our country to seek the best education there is in the world. And they are in all fields of study, from medicine actually all the way down to law and chemistry, biology, engineering, and everything that you could think of. So that's really great, and we are happy for that.
Most definitely. And of course, let us not forget that very recently we had our batch of the amazing Saudi students who actually graduated from the United States of America. A huge number of our very, very talented students have actually really learned the to's and the fro's of the business from the United States of America, the expert country in itself when it comes to education. And well, most of them have actually come back. They have found their jobs here, and all our greatest regards to your embassy over here for actually helping our students, and as well as the Saudi embassy in the United States of America with, of course, the ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Adil Al-Jubair, really having the upper hand over the students and protecting them. Now, speaking on the lines of the United States of America, there is a large number of our Saudi society who actually goes there for the sake of travel and tourism as well. And because just for the sake that we are in the summers, let us talk a little bit about that aspect. Perhaps the International Food Festival and the Cultural Festival is going to be another window for that, for them to be able to have perhaps a first-hand view of what they should expect in America. Not that we haven't seen enough in the movies, but just to perhaps see what they could expect over there, to really learn a little bit more and really plan up their trip. Because the summers and America as Saudi Arabia, as friendly as they are as nations, it is only the first choice for us to go there.
Wonderful. Thank you very much again, Neha, for this question. And actually, let me just go back and talk a little bit about the reception that Saudis have had for us and our presence in the Cultural and Food Festival.
Which you were a part of course.
Yeah, well, everybody really has been a part of. My staff, the embassy, the ATO, our DCM, everybody has been a part of this. But let me just really say a few words about how well we have been received at this festival. And actually, not only this festival, but all along, since I came here, I see Saudis really wanting to come and engage our staff, our volunteers, both the locally employed volunteers and the Americans. They just would like to come and talk to Americans, engage them, get to know them, make friends with them. And we do the same, of course. We really mean to make these kinds of friendships with Saudis and build these kinds of relationships at the very human level with Saudis, because we believe that these relationships are the ones that really endure and live even after we leave here. I can tell tell you, when I see Saudis who've been once to America, they really, they're glowing with pleasure at being in America. And that's great about our country. We have this great reputation of being really such friendly, smiley faces kind of people. The other day I met a journalist who had just come in from a program to America, and he told me something really wonderful. He said that actually I really went to Dallas Airport, in Virginia, and I was again really pleasantly surprised again, he said, that, with these very smiley American faces. And I said, but Americans always smile. He said, but that was actually, more this time. So I was really pleased to see that. So we have really been trying to improve these kinds of relations again, encourage Saudis to go and visit America for all kinds of purposes, to study, to seek medical help, to tour. Last year there was a report in the Financial Times that actually more Saudis are now going to the U.S. than to Europe for tourism, and that is really wonderful. That's music to our ears. And I can tell you, because Saudis do like America, they really find it a very friendly country, a very nice and simple country, and our visa, in the consulates, both in the embassy and in Jeddah and Tehran, again have really been working so hard to make the visa process to the U.S. Much more simpler and faster. Last year, I believe we issued over 105,000 visas to Saudis.
Wow.
That, way outnumbered the numbers that we issued before September the 11th. So things are really getting back to normal. Saudis are going back to the States, and Americans are coming back to Saudi Arabia as well in larger numbers. I go to these all kinds of receptions and meetings with the business community and the education communities, and I'm seeing more and more Americans and American families coming and living and enjoying the hospitality and generosity of Saudi Arabia and Saudis, and that's really a great thing.
Mr. Mofid, we want to return back to
Yes.
speak about the festival. I think it's very important for us to know more about this important festival that reflects the two sides, the culture and food.
Sure.
So what about the responding of these two sides in our community, Saudi community? What about they responding to this festival? What's the deal? What about their opinions about what they see from this great festival?
I think one aspect we haven't really touched on so far in this festival is the one of the major sponsors of this is the Autism Family Society in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And that is headed by Princess Samira bint Abdullah Al Saud, who's heading this great autism family society.
Yeah.
And that's really, really a great thing. We are honored to really work with her and see her come out there and speak publicly about this disorder that is impacting definitely tens of thousands of Saudis and probably hundreds hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of Americans and other nationalities all over the world. This is a terrible disorder that not only has its financial cost, but social and emotional cost on the families especially. For instance, in America today, there is probably more than 1.5 million Americans who are impacted or who are living with this disorder.
Autism,
The costs in America alone today, this year, for instance, are over $60 billion. That's going to actually increase in the next 10 years to over $500 billion. The costs are just humongous. In Saudi Arabia, I don't really have exact numbers, but again, I think there must be a lot of people who need the special care that autistic kids who really are born with this terrible disorder. It's really nothing of their own doing or their family's doing. It is something they are born with, and they need the special care and the special help that they can really get from society. And I understand, of course, that in a society like this or in other Arab and Muslim societies, talking about this is probably an issue. But thanks to people and leaders like Her Royal Highness Princess Samira and other leaders in this country, they have been talking publicly about this and raising the awareness of people about this terrible disorder. As I said, that is really the fault of nobody. People are just born with this, and they need, the kind of help and
needs help,
help. And the U.S. Embassy is absolutely honored to partner with these people to bring speakers from the U.S., bring specialists from the U.S. to partner with them to, do some workshops to educate people, raise their awareness of this issue.
Yes.
And hopefully we can.
Really, Mr. Mofid, you mentioned a very important issue. And it's related to my second question to you. It's very important that we speak about this festival and you're sharing with our community with their problems you feel with us, with our problem that we face. But I think, what about another activities of the embassy to renew the spirit of cooperation between the United States and the Saudi Arabia?
Thank you for this question again. As I said, really, our ambassador, James Smith, and our DCM, Thomas Williams, and everybody in this embassy, our president, Barack Obama, and Secretary Clinton, the number one thing for us to do is really to get out there and meet these Saudis and build these relations with them. Yeah. This relationship between us and Saudi Arabia, that's a very, very strong, very strategic relationship that started 70 years ago almost, in that wonderful meeting between King Abdulaziz and President Roosevelt. Yeah. That relationship that has really been built, from day one on common interest and mutual respect between the two countries. We want a relationship that is beneficial to both countries, to both peoples, and that's why this relationship has really survived the number of years it has, and I can tell you it will survive for many more years, because we believe in building this relationship at different levels. And people think sometimes that the relationship is only built around a certain sector or that,
political
but
or
it's
something
not.
like this, yeah.
But it's actually really
In
more
all
than that.
activities,
It absolutely is a very diversified relationship, multifaceted relationship, from education to the health sector to even autism cooperation, educational cooperation, all of these kinds of things. That's what really is making, the relationship stick. And as I said before, again, when there is 100,000 Saudis living today in the United States between the students and their families, I mean, this is a huge number of Saudis all living in the United States. And there is a very large number of Americans actually who come and live here and work here. Some of them have been here for decades, really. So the relationship is really multifaceted, diversified, strong, and it will be there. And we, as an embassy, we are honored to really participate in any function, any event that our Saudi friends put out there, invite us to participate in, especially when these events are dedicated to some worthy cause like autism, like breast cancer, like raising the awareness of Saudis around a certain issue, the book fair, the children's festival that is hosted usually annually by the Ministry of Culture and Information. Again, is something that we participate. We are really honored to participate in and come and help with. These are the kinds of things that we really enjoy. My American friends, the diplomats in the embassy, are very, very honored to be in this country. They experience something that they were probably told before, but they haven't really seen until they really come here, and that is the kindness and hospitality of Saudis. And if I can just really mention to you very quickly an anecdote. Actually, when I first came here, and I was going to a reception hosted by the Ministry of Culture and Information, and I met a senior Saudi government official from that ministry, without naming names. And when he learned that I am American and I had just really arrived to Riyadh maybe like 3 weeks ago, earlier or something, and he said, I want to tell you something. Foreign diplomats, when they come to this country, cry twice.
Why?
Once, when they are told they got this assignment to Riyadh, because they say, oh my goodness, it's hot, it's a desert, it's conservative, it's all of these things. So you cry the first time. And the second time is when you actually leave Riyadh, because of the friendships you have made, the great relationships you have built with Saudis, the warmth and kindness and hospitality you have enjoyed with Saudis. And I told him, I'm going to disappoint you. I'm going to cry only once when I leave Riyadh. Because I never cried when I came here. I will cry only after I leave Riyadh, after I made these great relationships with Saudis. And I'm really blessed and I'm really honored to have really made these great relationships. I've been welcomed to homes and offices of Saudis, and I really feel home with them.
Now, Mr. Mofid, talking a little bit more about feeling at home over here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the relationship between the two countries date back for decades. And of course, the people are well acquainted with each other, especially when they come over here, because when a Saudi goes to America, there are not that many stereotypes. But when an American comes to Saudi Arabia, there are many stereotypes. And alhamdulillah, we are very glad and humbled by the fact that you and your foreign delegation, all of the diplomats included, including, of course, the ambassador and his beautiful wife, have very much felt at home over here. They've very much felt a part of our country. But let us talk a little bit on the aspect of the International Food and Cultural Festival as well. Now, since it is also a cultural festival, let us talk about the cross-cultural exchange. We see that your ambassador is very well acquainted with the Saudi traditions and the culture. We saw him adorning the beautiful thobe with the jambiya and the shamar and the agal, the whole 9 yards, and along with his wife wearing the Assyri thobe and the beautiful Assyri scarf, which is not only the Saudi culture, but it is very specifically the Assyri culture. So not only are your ambassador and his wife acquainted with Saudi Arabia, but they very well identify with the country, which is a beautiful step for us as Saudis to really see, and we very much appreciate it. So talk to us a little bit more of the cross-cultural exchange. We see that the American bank is here, the American companies are here, the American restaurants and cafes are also here. So we understand the lifestyle. But talk to us a little bit about the cross-cultural exchange.
Well, we have, again, really a great cross-cultural exchange with Saudi Arabia for many, many years that really predated, all of us here. And that is going to continue again because it is in the best interest of both peoples. We believe that really this, interaction between the two cultures and the two peoples is what is really going to sustain this relationship that we both feel so strongly about. Every government comes to power in the United States or in Saudi Arabia really believe that this is a relationship that's there to stay. It's a relationship that is good for both countries. It's been there, as I said, for 70 years. It will be there for generations to come, I hope. Now, these cultural, exchanges are basically what we in this embassy are just the mechanism to really carry out these cultural exchanges, but they have been there, and we would love for them to continue. From bringing a speaker to talk about any issue that Saudi society would really care about. Anything from, as I said, breast cancer to autism to how to, to become a better journalist. We brought, probably you have heard about this, a trainer to actually do some training for Saudi journalists, and that was a great success as well. So these are really things, but let me just emphasize again, this relationship is really a two-way street. It is not only Americans coming here, but it's actually Saudis going over there too. And we would encourage our Americans to come here and encourage Saudis to go and visit us and do the kinds of things they'd like to do in America. Because a relationship has to always be a two-way street relationship. It cannot just continue if it's only one way. So our ambassador, since coming here, has really been encouraging American businesses to come here with their families. I mean, our embassy, the families in our embassy in the past 2-3 years, again, have probably quadrupled, in the past 2 years alone, because we'd like Americans to really come here, enjoy living in this country, experience the hospitality and generosity of Saudis, do the businesses, do the education that they do the things that they best do in this country and in other parts of the world. And that's good for both Saudis, and it's good for Americans as well. This is a strong relationship again, and we would like it to be always strong. And anything that we can do, our ambassador and our Secretary of State and President have always been telling us the number one thing that we have every single morning is how to make this relationship better and stronger.
Yes, Mr. Mofid, I have two very important questions that I invite you and all our viewers to see this important and interesting segments. The cartoon segment will come back to complete our discussion with Mr. Mofid. Let's see.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, with a quick break of the cartoons, and well, not that we don't see enough American cartoons, that is, we are going to be resuming our discussion from the participation of the United States of America's Embassy in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in the International Food and Cultural Festival, which has been ongoing for a long time now. We honestly hope that you've been there, you've seen it, and you've experienced the American corner as well. With us, we are very much privileged to be having Mr. Mofid Deak. He is the press attaché, also the spokesman for the Embassy of the United States of America in the capital city of Riyadh in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mufid, we have really bombarded you with so many questions. And we are going to be moving on towards the end of our program. But before we do, May has a question for you.
Yes, I want to ask you, Mr. Mufid, about what's your plan in the future about the Embassy of the United States of America to continue establishing the confidence between United States of America and Saudi Arabia, especially the spirit of cooperation and doing activities to make the two communities be mixed together or interaction, as you mentioned before. So I want to know what's your plan in the future to continue our cooperation, inshallah.
The plan, thank you. Sure. The plan for us today is the same plan that we had 5 years ago or 5 years from today. It's the plan always really is to how to make, as I just said before the break, how to make this relationship really better and stronger and to have it work for both the benefits of Saudis and Americans. It's a two-way street relationship. We would like our Saudi friends to benefit from our relationship as much as we do. We encourage them to do that. Now we have different programs, as I said, cultural and other exchanges, with this country, and we'd like to increase that if we can. Of course, there are always budgetary issues, for democracies like ours, but we would really like to continue the programs that we have been doing and have proven to be beneficial and successful in this country, and we'd like to increase more. One of the things, for instance, we'd like to explore is to actually increase the visits of Saudi journalists to the U.S. and American journalists coming to Saudi Arabia. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you quickly again, about 2 months ago, our embassy helped to bring in a delegation of really senior American editors and reporters to this country, 12 of them, who spent 2 weeks here in this country. They visited different parts of Saudi Arabia, talked to different people, both the government people, the NGOers or the private sector people, and the average Saudis. And they have really done great reports on Saudi Arabia. And that's a wonderful thing because, again, media plays a huge role in letting one people, one culture know about the other. There might have been some problems in the past, but I'm really trying to work with both media in Saudi Arabia and in the United States and trying to provide the opportunities for both media to the Saudi to go to the U.S. and again report objectively in a very balanced way on America, and the vice versa, the other way around. Bring American media again here and try to really help them get a very accurate picture of Saudi Arabia. So stereotypes unfortunately do occur. There are stereotypes in the minds of Saudis about Americans and vice versa, but there is nothing really better than that human exchange, that human interaction. I haven't seen one Saudi who has gone to America who still does not really say good things about America. And I haven't really seen one American who has been to Saudi Arabia who has really anything, bad to say about Saudi Arabia. So we'd like, this human exchange to continue. And as long as we have these, exchanges, I think we will have a better relationship, a better understanding of our two countries, wonderful countries working for peace and friendship, not only in this region, but in the world.
Inshallah. Inshallah, Mr. Mufid, we hope so.
Now, Mr. Mufid, speaking on the lines of perhaps tourism, now we understand that this is the time for the summers, which is perhaps the peak season for the Saudis to really choose destinations. And I will talk a little bit more about the Saudi tourism because I was just doing a program last night which was on regards to the domestic tourism within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and how is it that we can possibly get more foreigners to be coming here just for the sake of tourism. Now, we understand that many of the Muslim Americans, they come over here for the sake of religious tourism.
Sure.
Year in and year out. This
Sure.
has been a story which is not unknown to anyone.
Absolutely.
And alhamdulillah, the visa process is not really difficult, and the Umrah visas are actually issued
Right.
with much diligence from our Saudi embassy in America as well.
Right.
Now, speaking on the lines of perhaps making the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia a touristic destination, we know the United States of America is an old horse in the business. It has been there for years and years and has really set a role model industry of how is it that we can really develop an infrastructure of tourism. Now, you as not only a diplomat over here, but as a person who has gotten to see Saudi Arabia as well, what do you think are perhaps the few measures that the government and the people can take in order to perhaps make Saudi Arabia a touristic favorable destination?
Yeah, well, of course, I really don't want to, again, speak in the name of our Saudi government people. That is definitely their job to do. But as our ambassador and our other officials keep really telling our Saudi friends that, Saudi Arabia has great attractions. It really has gotten fantastic, attractions, natural and otherwise. And people from around the world would love to come and experience those attractions and just enjoy them. Saudis have great, again, traditions that maybe to a large number of the people of the world are not really familiar with. They'd love to come and experience this and learn something firsthand about Saudi Arabia. So it definitely is in the interest of Saudi Arabia to improve their, I'm going to be really careful here, improve whatever mechanism they have in place in order to attract more foreigners to come and enjoy their country, their wonderful, lovely country. Now, as far as America, as you said, the old horse in the business, we are so pleased and we're so honored to welcome as many Saudis as we can. And as I said before, there are more and more Saudis really going out there every summer and even in winter, because we got different regions in the United States, like Florida, and the winter is a great place to go to from Saudis, and Saudis are really going in droves, in large numbers, and we welcome that. We'd love for them to really continue to go there and just experience that friendly America and friendly, smiley American face.
Yeah, I think that you had to speak about the tourism department and about the relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia, the domestic tourism and the external tourism. I want to mention very important issue that you mentioned before about the educational part.
Sure.
And you mentioned that we have really a very huge number of students or Saudi students that study in the United States. So please comment about how to make them, the atmosphere there very comfortable to them to study and to live their normal life there, and vice versa, of course, if we have here United States families or American families here.
Yeah, let me address the first part of your question, which is about the Saudi students, because we really have a very large number.
Yeah.
We'd like that number to actually grow, particularly in the CASP program, the King Abdullah Scholarship Program, which is really a wonderful program. I don't think there is anything like it in the world today. This really represents and reflects the King Abdullah's vision of offering the greatest education there is to his people and build the knowledge-based society and country that the king really has for Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabians, I think, really by and large choose America as their #1 educational destination for a reason, of course. Most of their probably parents have gone to the States and studied there, back in the 70s and 80s, and these parents come and tell their kids how beautiful the country is, how great and wonderful our educational system really is. In the embassy here, and of course in the Saudi embassy in Washington, we have programs to orient, to offer some help to the Saudi students. We do it a few times. I'll be happy to provide you with the numbers of our embassy to call. They can actually call the embassy or go to our website and get the times where we offer orientations for the kids going, for the Saudi students going to the U.S. It just really tells them, basic information about how to even, pack your bag, what to expect when you arrive at the airport, and then how to go into the Washington and meet with your advisor at the Saudi Cultural Mission, and then in what to expect when you go to University X or Y in New York or Oklahoma or Washington or Virginia, and these, so there is that. And then, of course, in Washington, the Saudi mission really does a great job, again, offering the advice and the specialized, expert advice to these students going into the different programs in America. So far, I can tell you, really, I'm proud that we don't really have too many problems with Saudi students. Very few really students have any issues whatsoever, and it's a huge number of students, and they stay there for 4 years, some of them for 5 years for training and whatnot, and a large number of them actually are wonderful ladies like you, so that's really great. I think 23% of the total number of Saudi students in America today are actually female, and that's really great.
Yes. Really amazing.
It definitely is. And perhaps speaking on the lines of our women going to the United States of America, it is perhaps a rather comfortable thought for the parents over here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because we understand that Islam is a very well-known religion in the United States of America, where the people are well acquainted and educated about. And we have mini Arabia in Washington, D.C. itself, where so many of my friends, each time that they come back from Washington, D.C., they would always say, "Oh, Nihad, we did not feel like we went abroad.
Right.
It just felt like we were here in Saudi Arabia, right there," because we have such a large community of our people in America, and they're, alhamdulillah, really living excellent lives. And it is perhaps another promotion for more of our people to go there, to perhaps get the best of the education, the best of the health, and also perhaps have a better understanding of the American culture. We understand that the cultures are very much different. It's perhaps at the North and the South poles,
Sure.
but the understanding is not different. We understand each other,
Indeed.
and perhaps it is the basic human values which are just so similar that really bring the country together. But talking on the aspect of food, we see that food is something which is perhaps a common speciality of both the countries,
Sure.
where both of the nations are food not loving but food crazy nations,
Right.
where we have a large number of obesity in both the countries, which is actually not something to be proud of. It is something alarming. And we see that there's so many campaigns going on in the United States of America, back in your hometown,
Right.
where very recently I was actually delighted from the news that I got from New York, where the mayor of New York has actually put a very good restriction on the size of the soda drink cups. And I honestly think it is a very pleasant news to be coming in the United States of America. And as we see that we have perhaps the best of the educational representatives who come from the United States here in order to perhaps raise the level of our education, alhamdulillah, which is really going on a very pleasant pace. Let us talk a little bit about obesity. Are we going to be seeing any representatives from America, dietitians and some health officials who are going to be perhaps coming over here to really talk and tackle the very topic of obesity? Because we see that in America there is much awareness about it, but over here it is still something new that we are trying to tackle. We have our universities here who are talking about it, but the cross intervention is always there, where we see that at any convention that goes on in Saudi Arabia, American participation is not only there, but it's a must. So let us talk about this friendly relationship in order to make both the countries perhaps a little healthier.
Right.
They are wealthy. Let us make them a little healthier.
Well, Nihad, there's of course a couple of landmines in your question, and I don't really want to go close to obesity.
You can go
it's very
around
sensitive. But let me just go back to your part about the Muslim Americans, and thank you for reminding me of that. People don't really know that there are as many Muslims as we have in America today. We have several really millions of Muslims who are practicing their religion so freely in America today, and they are part of the American mosaic, part of the American society and community and government as well. And actually, I am one of them. I am an Arab, and I'm very proud of it, and a Muslim, and I'm very proud of it, and American, I'm very proud of it too. So I am that combination of all of this. I am just really, this is America today. Now, to go back to your more difficult question about obesity, we'd love to work, of course, with any organization that does these kinds of things in Saudi Arabia, and we're really willing to partner with them, bring maybe some specialists, some expert who can do some workshops as to how we can help families control the appetites of their kids, basically. And we have that issue, of course, in America today. I had it myself, when my kids were growing up. Not anymore, thank God. But definitely it is. But again, there is another issue I would like to address, and that is really how safe our produce, American produce, is, both the vegetable side and then the meat side. We have really very strict and stringent, requirements of our food, both the meat side and the vegetable side. And again, the same food that we offer overseas, like to this country, that we export overseas, is the food that we consume back home, we Americans. So it better be good. It's really good. It's really healthy. It is absolutely controlled, and it is delicious as well.
It is.
Yes.
And no, obesity is not because of the bad food that we eat. It's too much of the good food that we eat. So it is overeating, which is causing obesity. And of course, well, we are very well acquainted with not only the American culture, but of course the American food. I was just at an amazing American burger joint just last night, and I was overindulging myself into the delicacy which is known as a burger. And it is perhaps one of the most exciting aspects of American cuisine. It is fast food. So you can get it on the go and just have it in your car. Perhaps that is the most exciting aspect of American food. It is express cooking. You get it on the go and your life is good and you're all full with a great delicacy. Now, speaking on the lines of perhaps the National Day of the United States of America, which is perhaps the biggest gateway for us Saudis to learn about your culture, because each time there are presentations and there is like a window for even those who have not been to America, for them to be able to really see America. And just a while back was the celebration of the American National Day, and the American Embassy very much opens their doors to all of the Saudis in order for them to come and witness.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking on the lines, the same lines, when the Saudi National Day falls, the Americans very actively and enthusiastically really celebrate. Now, let us talk a little bit about what are the likes of the national days that you see yourself as a visitor to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, because that is definitely something that brings us closer, our national day.
Absolutely.
So if you can perhaps shed some light on that.
The Saudi National Day, of course, is a celebrated, event, and we Americans, as you said, thank you. As you said, we really would love to go there and celebrate, this National Day with Saudi Arabia and our Saudi friends. There is the Janadriya, which is really another wonderful, festival that a lot of Americans from the embassy and from outside the embassy, the business community, really would love to go there and meet Saudis and see them again, celebrate their culture, from the different parts of the country. And that's absolutely a wonderful thing. It's a great thing for, any people to really celebrate their own, national and cultural heritage and the things that they are proud of. That's how a nation really becomes a nation. That's how people become attached to a nation and continue to build that kind of the national, honor and national pride. And Saudis are very proud people. When I was in Washington, I would actually go almost every year to the National Day celebration at the Saudi embassy, and I would really again meet these wonderful friends that I have made even over there before I came here. And it's just a great thing, for both nations. Our National Day, thank you again for reminding me of that, this past March. We do it a little earlier. Our National Day usually is on the 4th of July, which actually was celebrated only a few days ago, but we do it in March because of the weather. We'd like our friends to really be able to come and enjoy, our generosity too, and to celebrate with us our National Day. So we do it in March when the weather is still decent. And I can tell you we're really always honored to have the number of Saudis who come to us. I think this past time we got over 1,200 Saudis, who came to us and celebrated with us our National Day. And for that, we can't really be more thankful or appreciative.
Mr. Mofid, we speak about the United States Embassy and the cooperation and the treatment and the support from the United States of America to our Saudi community. What about supporting the American families here in Saudi Arabia? What is the role of the embassy to support them, to make them feel comfortable to live as they live in America? So we want to know what is the United States Embassy present to their citizens here in Saudi Arabia.
Well, of course, our embassy supports our American families. You mean about the American families? Everything that we can, we definitely, support our American families. They are in touch with us. We have, most of them at least registered with our embassy. That's a routine, standard procedure. If there is any issue, they can call us, and we have a duty officer.
I think that they have no problem. We live, all of us here, as a one community.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you know, thankfully there isn't really, you know, many problems for Americans here. They really live and work, and they feel they're welcomed by Saudis and their Saudi friends, and generally really Americans are really very happy to be in Saudi Arabia, and they would actually welcome even other Americans to come, and they invite them to come and just experience the country and the, you know, friendliness of Saudis, and the you know, generosity and hospitality of Saudis, because as I said before, there is really nothing than that human interaction. Before coming here, I think people might have a certain stereotype about Saudi Arabia, but once they are here, they really experience something different, and they will never forget that in their lives. And that's a great thing for both Americans and Saudis.
Yes, of course. As we mentioned before, that we had present a very nice and amazing program, the summer show, and we invite all the world to visit our cities here in Saudi Arabia, as Abha, Jeddah, Mecca. We are invited to the domestic tourism. So I think that you have not the opportunity to visit us, to make our viewers know more about the important reasons in the United States of America. Of course we know, but we want more information, especially that time of vacations and everybody want to travel. So what about the important regions that you have to invite us to know more about it, especially we are the vacation time and we want to choose?
You mean in America, of course?
Yes, of course.
Well, you know, each region in America is like a different country, almost, you know, so...
and it's the size of a big country as well.
It is the size of a big country, but it's really beautiful. I mean, you can, you know, I'm not going to really now publicize one particular state versus another. That will be wrong on my part as an American diplomat representing all of America.
If I ask you about beaches, where in
beaches are all over the place. From my state, Virginia, they have great beaches, to South Carolina, of course, North Carolina as well. Florida is very well known to everybody in the world, you know, California. So really everywhere you go, there are really beautiful, you know, spots for Saudis and other, you know, international people visiting our country to enjoy, you know, the lovely things, the nature and the American spirit, and just really just go around America and meet with these Americans, the Americans that you really do not see in you just mentioned the movies, you do not really see in the movies. These are the real Americans that I think Saudis need to get in touch with and learn more about America. Very simple, you know, hard-working people who just get up every morning to make, you know, a living for their, you know, kids, for their families, and to be proud Americans every single day. And I know that there are Saudis who are exactly like that, who really wake up every morning, you know, to love their families, bring foods and water on the table for their families, and to become better Saudis and better, you know, citizens of the world as well.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Mofid, perhaps turning that question towards the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, let us talk about Mr. Mofid coming to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and getting a chance to see around the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I'm not talking about the political affairs in the embassy. I'm not talking about you as the press attaché. I'm talking about Mr. Mofid as a person, getting to go around. Have you gotten a chance to see the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? And if you have gotten to see any other cities other than, of course, our beautiful capital?
Well, actually, I really haven't had, you know, the travels I would have really liked to do since I came here about 18 months ago.
You don't necessarily have the time for it.
Probably so. So I really did only travel to Jeddah this time. I traveled to Dhahran before on some other trip to Saudi Arabia many years ago. Dhahran. Right. But of course I've been in the capital, which is really a beautiful capital, and I am enjoying, you know, all the goodies around the capital. But I would love to travel more. Our ambassador actually has really been a frequent flyer in Saudi Arabia, has been really doing a lot of traveling, and he's very proud of it, and he loves it. He and his wife, Dr. Janet, really go around and travel, you know, into every region in this country, and they love it. And I think I should do that, you know, myself.
Yes, inshallah. We invite you, Mr. Mofid. Okay, continue, please, your speech.
No, I just really wanted to say, but I'm really, again, blessed by the friendships, you know, that I have really made with Saudis, and the great things that we really have been doing together, and just that, you know, great, you know, friendly, kind Saudi that comes across once you meet them is something that I really believe in. Myself and my wife have really enjoyed a great deal since we came here.
Yes, Mr. Mofid, as an American citizen, you live the American life, and as here, your position in the United States Embassy, you live here as a Saudi citizen also. So what is, to make to us a comparison between the American life and the Saudi life? So what is the difference between them from your point of view, that you have the opportunity to live the two ways?
Right. That's, of course, a very, individualistic, even and personal question. So one can really live the way he'd like, in any society that he lives. When you go out, that's a very different,
yes,
thing.
I ask you in the corner that in the way of traditions and customs and difference in some kinds. So what's you have faced in your life here and there?
To be honest with you, not much,
Yeah.
We just go out and we go to the embassy, we do the work, we get out in the evening and we meet with people and then do the dining and everything else. But there are, things that probably I would not find here in this country like I would find in America, but I'm not really complaining, like movies or something like this, more national parks I'd like to see. But again, that's really something, that for the Saudis to decide. I'm sure they would love to have some of these things, and I'm sure at some point that you will have, movies in this country.
Yeah.
Actually, I was at a meeting, public meeting with Minister Khoja one day, and Saudi kids came to him and presented him with a request to open, a kids movie theater in Riyadh.
Yes,
he said, I will.
hope so.
So I think things would definitely, go in that direction. Thank you.
Yeah.
And well, with this, ladies and gentlemen, we have come towards an end, towards the discussion of not only the International Food and Cultural Festival, but also the friendship between the United States of America and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And what an amazing discussion it has been. We would perhaps have taken a little more of your time, Mr. Mofid, than it was planned. But thank you very much for being so humble to be able to answer just about anything that we had to ask you. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, joining us in the program was Mr. Mofid Deak. He is the press attaché as well as a spokesman for the Embassy of the United States of America in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you both.
It definitely has been a pleasure. And really quickly, before we bid farewell to the press attaché of the American Embassy, let us send once again our regards to His Excellency, Mr. Jim, as well as his beautiful wife, Dr. Janet, for all of the love and the support to our Saudi community and for giving back so much to our community. And with this, we are going to be taking you on a report which is all about For Them, in which you're going to be seeing the American corner in the International Food and Culture Festival. So let's move on towards that, and we're going to be back to conclude the program. Stay tuned.